greetings. Welcome to Stratton College. I am the chapter president of Gamma Delta Delta Tau, Clinton Pine.
Hey, nice to meet you, Clinton. I am an incoming freshman. My name is Shawan Jackson.
Pleased to meet you, Shawan. I hope you will have an enlightening and above all fun experience here at Stratton College. As you may know, I am also the chapter president of Campus Democrats, headed by our faculty advisor, Professor Harper. We're having a meeting tonight at 6:30. Will you be attending?
No, I will not. I attended a meeting hosted by Professor Harper last week, but I was not fully convinced by his talking points. I am a conservative Republican.
Sorry, I think there must be something in my ear. I thought for a moment you said you were a conservative Republican.
I am. I do not appreciate the government telling the jury in Florida how to cast their verdict in high-profile cases.
Oh, good heavens. This is a college campus and I have not met one of you conservatives in my 3 years here. I welcome all opinions in my fraternity, but I take it you support the Zimmerman verdict. May I ask why?
George Zimmerman was just defending himself, and he was fully benign. And Trayvon Martin was a street thug. And he was doping, probably. And he didn't care much for authority.
Yikes. This is quite a bit worse than I thought. Are you aware that George Zimmerman had a prior criminal record, or that he has been noted to have a violent disposition, and that he followed Trayvon against police orders? That doesn't sound like being benign to me.
George Zimmerman did what he had to do to defend himself from an aggressive bully. And he had a right to shoot him, under the Second Amendment and the Stand Your Ground laws.
You're assuming that George Zimmerman was under threat to life. No evidence surfaced that such a threat ever took place. A medical examiner noted that his injuries were inconsistent with his own testimony. Furthermore, the Stand Your Ground laws enacted by conservative Governor Jeb Bush and subsequently enacted in other states have basically given gun owners the right to shoot whomever they want with less of a burden of proof as to why such is justified. Where is the burden of proof?
The burden of proof is not required to provide under Florida's Stand Your Ground law. Under the Stand Your Ground law, the person who uses lethal force only needs to feel threatened.
But as a person of color, doesn't that worry you? We may not know for sure whether George Zimmerman racially profiled Trayvon, but it's highly unlikely he would have done so, say, if someone who looks more like myself was walking that street. Racism is alive and well in today's America.
How so?
All you need to do is look at the statistics. People of color are still much poorer and much less represented in high occupations than whites. Countless black Americans have been the target of police profiling since Obama was elected. Conservatives like to say that having a black president means no one should complain about racism, but all I see is more of it. You must see this yourself as well.
Of course I see this. I have been stopped by the police many times when I was not doing anything wrong. But that does not mean that we should repeal the Stand Your Ground law in Florida. The Stand Your Ground law merely gives Americans the right to defend themselves under the Constitution.
How familiar are you with the Second Amendment?
The Second Amendment reads, "The right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed."
Indeed it does, but most Second Amendment enthusiasts fail to see the entire context of the amendment. In particular, gun nuts such as members of HENU ignore the part of the amendment that talks about the importance of a well-regulated militia.
A well-regulated what?
A well-regulated militia. The first clause of the amendment states, a well-regulated militia being necessary for the security of a free state. What this means is that any free country needs a well-regulated force ready to defend the safety of the public at any time. In other words, the military. The local police could be thought of as the local branch of such, whose function it is to protect the public. George Zimmerman, a police academy flunky, made the mistake of thinking he could use his vigilantism to pursue someone who had not committed a crime.
But Trayvon was walking around at night in the rain for no reason.
Is that a reason for an armed one-ad-cop vigilante to come rushing in and shoot him? We're standing out here, and to someone observing from a distance, for no apparent reason. Should that person come here and pull a gun on us on the ground but they find us suspicious?
Of course not. That would be a violation of our civil rights.
But that is exactly what the Stand Your Ground laws do. The biggest danger of the Stand Your Ground laws and the precedent set by the Zimmerman is that paranoid right-wingers will now use the guise of these laws to shoot unarmed people they deem undesirable. This has become such a serious concern that Attorney General Eric Holder has called for a federal repeal of such technicalities.
But there has to be something in place for people to defend themselves.
But what is the definition of self-defense? Was it self-defense for a vigilante such as Zimmerman, who was armed, and in a car, to pursue an unarmed black teenager who was on foot, against police orders might I add, and shoot him? All because he thought he was suspicious. Should people who are not police be given that kind of authority over other civilians? Do you really think that is an acceptable solution to the problem of racism today?
So, Clinton, if George Zimmerman illegally followed Trayvon, possibly profiling him, and shot him while he was unarmed, and the Stand Your Ground laws are part of the problem more than part of the solution, why should I support Zimmerman?
You tell me, my friend.
You know what? I think I'll go to tonight's meeting. No promises that I will change my mind about Trayvon. I just want to check things out. See what you guys have to say.
Excellent. It starts at 6:30, and I hope to see you at Rush in a few days. I have a feeling you're Delta Tau material. Professor Harper told me you were smart.